Hello, everybody. It's Bill from Melbourne City Maintenance, and this is a pretty old weatherboard home that's been around for a while and recently had an extension put on it. By recently, probably in the last 10 to 15 years. And since then, the house hasn't been painted, and the current owners contacted us so that we can get the place looking good again and attend to some of the issues that they had found in the weatherboards. Mostly those issues were rot, and as a result of that, there was quite a lot of work that was done to replace rotten weatherboards. You can also see the paint is flaking off, and by the time the paint flakes off and water penetrates, that is what causes the rot. So we attended to the property. We spent 4 weeks here sanding all the surfaces and replacing rotten weatherboards. This is probably the best side of the house, even though we have taken some of those timbers to bare. There wasn't a lot of weatherboard repairs on this side, and that's mainly due to the fact that this side is protected from the neighbour's house, which is casting a shadow and blocking a lot of the weather. But still, 10 to 15 years without a paint job means that the paint is going to start deteriorating. Now, these water tanks often create some problems for weatherboards, and very typically we find around the pipes for water tanks, we find rot. And this is something that definitely was attended to and we did resolve. And because it had been so long to get behind the weatherboards that were behind the water tanks, the client had the water tanks removed. And then that meant we were also able to access and work out what was going on in the very high sections of the wall where the water tanks were. And this back section is quite high. It's about 7 meters high to the peak. And as a result of that, we needed to get a scaffold here and have that installed so that we can safely access the area. The deck was looking a little bit run down, so we pressure washed that and made sure that we gave that 2 coats of paint. And you can see on this side, the west side, where most of the damage is going to be. Now, there's not a lot of footage of upstairs on the west side, but it was quite damaged and we replaced quite a few weatherboards. Very typical on the west side to see rotten weatherboards, and this is something that we do regularly. We remove rotten weatherboards and change them. And as a result of that, we seal them, we punch the nail holes, we fill the nail holes, we fill all the gaps and cracks, and we make sure that water can't penetrate. Now, the west side gets the most weather and it gets the afternoon sun in summer, so it expands and contracts more, and that's what's causing the problems and creating gaps. But as you can see, with a little bit of time and effort and some new weatherboards, we can replace the old quite easily and make it look the same. And you'd never know once it was painted. The windows on this side are also a little bit worse for wear. We had to sand back to quite some distance where we revealed previous colors of paint. And there was also water tanks in this section here, which were removed for the same reason, so that we could access the back of the water tanks and get to the weatherboards. And you can see there's a fair amount of work that needed to be done here, but not so bad in that this is not stuff that you can't deal with and sort out. It's all just stuff that's cosmetic, but it does need to be done because you don't want water penetrating the inside of the house walls. And also the colors were not the best. The client bought the house, but they weren't happy with these colors. Now they're stuck with the roof color because they can't change that, or they chose not to change the roof color. As a result of that, we continued to paint the house and work with that color, but we've given it quite the freshen up. And here is the after photo. It is just completely transformed this place. It looks amazing. And we've given everything 2 coats of paint. We've filled all the gaps. The windows had 3 coats of paint because the previous color was a green and they needed additional painting. And just look at the veranda and this front door area. Just look how amazing it looks and how fantastic and crisp and clean it looks now. The clients were wrapped. This was a 5-star review job. We got a 5-star review for this. That's 62 5-star reviews. We have a 5-star rating because we just go out of our way to make sure that the client gets exactly what they want. And this is just an amazing house to come home to now. It's bright, it's light, it's fresh, it's clean. Every single thing that needed to be done has been done. We used scaffold down this side as well to access the second story, and we also created a temporary ladder system on the roof for the second level so that we can walk up there safely and ensure that we had a place to work from and a place to change weatherboards from and a place to cut timber and do all that stuff safely. Now, as you see, we can do weatherboard repairs and paint homes. We can paint the interior of the house and the exterior of the house. We can paint decks. We can paint driveways. We can paint any area that needs painting on your home. But if you have a weatherboard house that's probably been too long since the last coat of paint and you're starting to see rot on weatherboards, now's the time to get it painted. It doesn't matter whether it's summer, winter, autumn, or spring. Any time is a good time to paint a weatherboard home, especially before the wet season where water starts to penetrate walls where there's damaged weatherboards. The deck has been done and given 2 coats of exterior decking paint by Hames. It looks amazing. It's fresh, it's protected. It's going to protect it from rotting. This back wall looks just sensational. It's huge. Once the scaffold was up, it was very easy to paint and really quick to do. Felt safe. We didn't have to worry about people getting injured. We value safety. We want to make sure that everyone gets home well and safe and happy. And we want to make sure the client gets the best job. We don't do things off ladders at heights because it's dangerous and we can't possibly do a good job. These windows were sanded and painted and filled and repaired, and now they're looking great as well, nice and sharp and clean. They all operate properly. We clean the glass of excess paint. So if you need your house painted and weatherboards repaired, call Bill from Melbourne City Maintenance on 0403 162 374 and check out the description to find the link to our website where you can go and have a look at more of the jobs we've done.